So this is the Sidur RASHASH, and here's his Hakdama, the Birchos Avos, the Rosh Hashanah. There's so much that we could be looking at over here, and he has one of these blockbuster drawings, like comes from, I don't remember, like one of these blockbusters. So let's look at Hakdama, the Birchos Avos, the Rosh Hashanah. Are you ready?
Yes.
It says Birchos Avos the Rosh Hashanah yesh ba kama shinuyim beBirchos Avos the Yemol Sachol. So he has apparently something on Shefa Brachos Hakavanot. I don't know. Yesh Birchos Avos who arichos gedola. Lo atakno. Just talking about the Birchos Avos, he says. So lo hatakno bekan. As called the Gevurah, Asher Nisandra Etzleida B'Sefer B'Fnei Atzmam, so that he has. We don't have everything here. V'Chavana Rak as a Gevurah Ikrios Nogos the Rosh Hashanah. So he said the high the Gevurah RAYO. So right away we come over to this idea of RAYO, and he's going to give us some ideas about what RAYO is, amongst other things. So he says Shemekuvana called Prat to Prat, that this idea of RAYO keeps coming in over and over and over again. Shebekrius is a kifos, and so we're going back to Rabbi Memran again, back at the beginning of how we're understanding the davening. So we have krios and zakifos of Barosh HaBracha, v'chein anesira shebeshazichrano zachreno l'chaim, that one also. V'achar kach, and after that, hu v'gam ha'gavanos shal hemshech tefillas Rosh Hashanah. We're going to bring all the rest of them. So now he's going to start talking about the RAYO. So this just plunges us right into the depth of this idea, whether you use the Sidur or not. I try to use it, but I'm doubting in an Ashkenaz minyan, so I have to go back and forth. That's what I've been doing. So Kitzur Gavanas the RAYO and Ramazas B'Tefillas Amida, the Rosh Hashanah. So what's going on here? A brief idea. He says, Hine Rosh Hashanah hu Yom Adin, V'Shabo Maschelas HaMalchus L'Hivanas Mitzad Gevurah Shaba. So we're going to build Malchus. That's what's happening here. I guess it's the idea, maybe, when we say Hamelach, the concept of that. We're building Malchus. The Fi She'ein Hadinim and Imtakim Ela B'Shorsh, and the only way you can work with the dinim is to go to the root. Tzark l'kaven al shem Raya, so therefore we have to have an idea of this name, Raya, which has a Gematria of Gevurah. So you're going right to the action itself. Shemisham nimshachim kol Gevuros. I thought he was going to say Bina, but he said Gevuros. He said Gevurah. V'zecher gormim lahamtik v'lebasim hadinim, and that's how we can do this. How? So he said v'hine. B'tevis baruch atah. So now we have these two words which have to do with the bringing the body and then the head down. Shebechem na'azim kriyas harosh v'haguf. Mamshichin shefach hadas. So now let's go a little bit slower. Mamshichin shefach hadas ma'atzila. So what we're going to do, the Libria, el hanuk hanimsav shon, the nook who is found there. Sham bebechina de kuda ketana bekadesh yehei ba koich la'alos achar kach la'atzilus. So I'm not sure exactly about that, because I thought that this takes place at a different time of the day, because that the nook is in Bria. So I guess this is the process of bringing her out of Bria, but I'm not. I have questions about this. So therefore we send to her, in order to bring her up out of Bria, we send to her the bechinos of RAYO. 5 different bechinos, which are 26, is 5 times 26. I don't know, let's see what happens. Different kinds of RAYOs. Shtei ha'aros bebaruch, so there's 2 of them come when you say the word baruch. But zolosh ha'aros ba'ato. So in these 2 words themselves, you're bringing in all of this RAYO. 2 different ways, 2 different ways, yeah. Achar kach b'tevis Avaya, then you come to the name Avaya, who a zakifa mekuvana la'alos hanuk, and this is the zakifa. Now you're reaching down and you're pulling the nook, right? Because the nook out of bria. Okay, I got it now. La'alos hanuk. So he said again, mekuvana la'alos hanuk de atzilus, sheva olios, 7 different olios. Das adezer anpin, until it reaches the das. In other words, it just doesn't go into atzilus, but it goes 7 aliyos until it reaches the top of the zad atzilus. Below kamoba kol yemos hashana shanuk ola al chaza dezer anpin belvad, where she only goes to the chaza. So here it says that at Rosh Hashanah she goes to the das. Now that's apparently significant. I'm not sure exactly how. So let's look a little bit more and let's see if we can find out how. So Shefa Chadas and Nikra Kal. It's called Kal because it has 526 is in it, and I think we're talking about the left side of Das, which is the Gevurahs. So, but let's see. Maybe I remember it right. Shefa Chadas and Nikra Kal Nimshach B'Tevis Baruch L'Malchus Animsas B'Bria B'Bechinas Nekuda Achas. Going back over it again, the concept of Kal, which is five chavayos. When you say the word Baruch, it brings them down into Bria to that little dot, which is Malchus. So then he says Nekuda Achas. B'Shefa Zecha B'Yored Mizer Anpin D'Chatzilus Al L'Das Shal Malchus Animsa, and it's going to then it's going to go to the das of Malchus. Meromez B'Bechinas RAYO. Let's read again. He says, "V'shefa zecha yored mizer anpin dechatzilus el hadas shel hamalchus." Now the das of the malchus would be behind zer anpin at this stage if she's ach ta'ach. Where she's ach ta'ach with him. So he says, "Hadas shel hamalchus animsas bebria meromez bebechinas RAYO." The shefa itself, the reference to that shefa that's going to her, comes out of the concept of RAYO, but called prat to prat. Ki shefa hagevurahs dahaynu shlosh pamim shem havaya. So he says that the shefa Gevurahs, which is 3 times the name havaya, but it's havaya berevua shebegematria av. So it's havaya with a revua. They have 3 different times of 3 avs. 3 avs gives it a gematria of RAYO. Just for my own sake, again, ki shefa hagevurahs, that is what's coming out, which is the RAYO. Behind the shlosha pamim shem havaya, I'll show you. He says that this, in fact, is RAYO, because if you take the revua of the yudke vovke, you're going to have 3 avs. 3 avs makes RAYO. Okay, so he's going to go through a bunch of different places where you see that RAYO is coming from the right, left, up or down, all different kinds of places. So let's look at Zer Anpin, because it's Zer Anpin that's from whom the shefa is going to that nukus and bria. Maromas be'osios RAYO. You could see this in the letters RAYO themselves. How? Kihu nirmez be'os vav, because the reference is from the concept of vav, which is Zer Anpin shemashben shefa laos mashpia shefas laos hey. So let's say vav and let's say the hey. And he wants to say like this, and I guess we'll see this when we look in the RASHASH. So you could put the hey and the vav together in a way that they actually come out to be RAYO, not in count, but in look. And also malchus, that there is where the shefa is going. He says, Shuhu Sod Yud Beis Osius Hamilui the Shem Adni, which is the secret of the name Adni spelled out. It comes to 12 letters. Yachad im Shlosha Pamim Av. So put it together with these 3 im Shlosha Pamim Av, 3 avs, comes to the Gematria of RAYO. Now 3 times 72 is not 3 times 72 is 216. Let me see. He says comes to RAYO 3 times 72. 72 to 72 is 216. So let me see if I understood this wrong. He says if you take v'chein Malchus Shasham Nishbach HaShefa Shehu Sod Yud Beis Osios HaMilui L'Shem Adnei. You take that, those 12, Yachad Im Shlosh Pamim Av She'ol RAYO, which comes to Gematria, I'm sorry, comes to the number Rakoch, convenient Baruch, which is the same Gematria as Baruch. So you're mixing the the Av with the letters of Adni, which is where the Av is going. That's the Shefa pouring into it, and it comes out to the word Baruch. That is a creation of a bracha. So that's what the Rashash says. So he said, V'chein amakav shemisham nimshach hashefa. So therefore, the same thing, the place for the Shefa is coming from, the Heinrich Das, the Ima, Gam Hu Merumebs l'Rayo b'shtei ofan, and there's two different ways that we can see Rayo in Ima. Ofen Rishon hu mishum sheshlosha avayos yesh be'ima. There are 3 avayos in Ima. Shkol acham bechem hi b'milui sag. So Ima is, at least I know the Zat of Ima is, I think they usually say that that's where the sag is. V'im eser osius ha-milui hare, and then you take the 12 letters of the milui. Let's see what milui, im eser osius, the 10 letters of the milui, that gives you the number Og, 73. Now, how he's able to do this, and it always leaves me a little bit dumbfounded, but he says it's a fact. He says, Maridim v'menach is a bechinas ha-klal shabah, so we ha-kolel shabah, so we take the root out of it. V'nishar Av, and it remains 72. Then you take V'shlosh Pamim Av, Heim Rayos, 20 is 216. V'ofen Hasheni, so that's one way. That's where you could see Rayo in there, like looking like that. V'ofen Hasheni, Hu ki shloshach b'vayos elu, so we're talking about 3 times 63. Ma'os Aleph, they can also see this in the letter Aleph, the Ekia Dehayin. Now, Ekia also is coming from Ima, and I think usually it's the more panimistic aspect, which would be maybe the Gar of Ima, I'm not sure. V'os Aleph near Mazas Osius Rayo. So just by the letter, which is the first letter over there, or a letter that refers to Ekia, you could take that and make that into a Rayo. How do you do that? Kechachelaka Elyon is a Yud. V'hachelech ha'emsoy is a tzuras of Vav. Oh, we know that. V'hachelech ha'tachton, tzurasa, sometimes we see it as a Daled. Here he says it's a Resh, chafucha, it's an upside down Resh. So let's go over and see a little bit more. Okay. V'lacha shenimshach b'tevis baruch, Shefach Hadas Elamalchus Animsas Bebria. So we see how these 216s are coming down. It's a Shefa from coming from this Das. Shefach Hadas Elamalchus Animsas Bebria. Tzrichen the says ba koach al yedecha b'tevisata. So what it is at Baruch brings her the bracha, brings her the concept of bracha. All the way up from Ima, you see this coming in this Rayo. So he says la koach, no, but she needs the strength. Al yedecha b'tevisata, b'kedei shetuchu achar kach, so that she should be able to after this. Kisheta'ala the Etzilus, of that when she comes up into Etzilus. Kisheta'ala the Etzilus, he heals parts of Shalom to become a complete parts of Shal Eses Spheros. So she needs to do that. V'lechein sark lacham shekalecho esa osios she'al yadam na'asach parts of. So therefore she needs that juice. How does she get that juice? So now let's look at let's look at this Tevis Atah, the word Atah itself, Gematria 2, comes out to be the number 406. Now what is 406? So now he's throwing lots of things in here that I would like a lot more help with it, but he said Communion Rayo plus the last 3 letters of the Mansapach. I don't know if it's the last 3 letters, Manspach. Okay, so the Tzapach have come from Mansapach. So Mansapach are Gevuros that are the extra letters, and you take Rayo and Spach, and which is 216 and 190, Ki Osius S, because the words S, Miramazes, so the word the S that is of Atah, is a reference al kof beis osius me aleph ad tov. So there's 22 letters. So he's showing you the inside of it, how it works. V'os hey meremedes achamesh osius akafulus, which is mansapach. So you're mixing kan here with the number which is mansapach, and you're missing it. The tov is also at the same time the 22 letters. So I think that you mix those two ideas together, and they are pure strength somehow. So exactly all of that, I'm not 100% sure, but we will continue on as this is our friendly introduction. Now that he's done that, he wants to show that there's rayo all over. So v'ateva ata v'chavatevas ata yesh b'cha shlosha chofanim ketzad hi meramazin lebechinas rayo. So there's three. He says yesh ba shlosh chofanim. There's three different ways that we can see in the word ata that the word rayo is embedded in it. Echad hu kavanas kaf beis osius, which we said before. So you take the 22 letters, you multiply 10. Now, why would you do that? Gichak is an utterance of the palate, I believe. We have what? A cha, gichak. I don't know which one is datlenet, zashras, and bumuf. Those letters. So why? I don't know. There's no whys here, just facts. So what to do with them? So he said, so he said, what you take from that the letters gichak, out of that, hare rayo, comes to rayo. So let's see, they're kof beis osius, and you multiply it by 10, that's 220. Take away the letters gichak from that, you're going to come back to rayo. V'romzim ba'os aleph, also at the same time, shal ata shetzara, so rayo, you could say ata, we could make it into rayo too, which we did previously. Hasheni hu kavanas spach. Now these are the three other letters of those three letters. Those are ones we left out with before. The tzafach, those letters for the matzapach. So he says again, Hasheni hu kavanas spach v'chavaya peshutach she'ola rayo. So if you take that, you add it up, it's going to come to 216 again. If a remuzel be'os taf, and there's a reference here also to the letter taf, shal ata shetzara, so rayo, you can make the taf, the letter itself, into a rayo. V'hashlish, the third way that you see it, hu kavanas tevas ata, she'na'asis the akya, she'ol the rayo, kashenaf l'cha'osach l'chasara, l'sara yachad im shesh osis amilu. Let me read it again. V'hashlishi, the third way in which you see this, hu kavanas tevas atah, take the word atah, shena'asis the ekya. Now, I'm kind of missing how atah becomes ekya, but ekya, it does change when you say the name Hashem. But at any rate, he says it changes to the name Baruch atah. He said change to the name ekya, she'ola rayo. How do you get rayo out of that? The asara, to multiply it by 10 gets to 210. V'im shesh osis amilui, in the 6 letters of the milui, you take it makes 216. V'remuzach b'os hey. Also, we have the reference to the os hey shal ata shetzara. So also you can make this into a rayo by taking the daled, making it to a resh, and then moving around this way and that way, you get a rayo. So let's move on again. So here's another rayo. So rayo coming down everywhere. Begam zer anpen shuhu mashpia shefa. And let's take zer anpen. Zer anpen, who's the poorer of the shefa. Roma bebechinas rayo. Kecham mamochin de zer anpen shehim choch bebina berenbina. Those two mochin. Heim osius yud and k. So you can fix that up so that it looks like a rayo. Ki os heit serasa komos os resh. So a mibechutz, it's like take the outside part and it looks like a resh. Os vav mebifnim is on inside of it, mebifnim. V'him hayud naase rayo. And if you take the 10, the letter 10, letter yud, the letter yud, which is a number of 10, then you have rayo again. So we're going to go through some different places where he sees rayos everywhere. So I guess this also is going to be depicted in the Rashash. V'lachar shenirmaz shlosha rofanim shal bechinas rayo b'shef. So now we have the rayo, the shefach yored mizer anpin anuk. V'kein nirmaz bechinas rayo b'zer anpin shuchulcha mashpia. So therefore, did I read this one already? Yizboyer gam shnei rofanim ketzad nirmaz bechinas rayo be'ima shebisham nishbar shefa. So we saw where Zak came from. Now let's look at Ima. Ha'ofen Rishon ki shlosha havayos yesh be'ima. Now this is a fact that he's telling us. There are 3 havayos in Ima. And shall call achad behem he b'milui av. Each one of them is a 72. V'shlosha pa'amim av, got Rayo again. V'ofen hasheni, that's one way. So since we have 3 avs in Ima, I'm not sure exactly how to explain how they got there or where they are, but that's what we find in Ima. He says, both in the Sheni who ki shalosh alvayus elu nimshachos me'os aleph the akia de yudin. So if you take the akia de yudin, and there's an aleph at the beginning of it, so you could take that aleph which we showed previously how you could make it into a rayo. Both aleph near mazas osios rayo. So let's say v'al yedei. One second. So now we have 5 different types of rayo here. Shemamshichim el hamalchus, which is pouring into malchus, animsa bebricha be'esa, which is in bria at this time. Be'esa krios betevis baruch. So now we see that we're bringing down shefa, and he said in the word atah, you have the power to be able to bring, or the energy to be able to bring her up out of bria. And he says where? To all the way, he said previously, all the way to the das of Zeranpin. But notice in the koach shetuchel achar kach b'shtecha zekifa shebetei b'savaya. Now you're going to say havaya, and there's going to be 2 zekifas. This is when the actual, as she has the energy as the gas in the tank, and now she has the tank and she has the gas in the tank, and now she's able to come up. The al shebetei b'savaya. You said the word havaya. La'alos chamesha liyos nebria letzilus, and then she goes up 5 different levels from bria to tzilus. Ki bezechifa rishona olo arba rabelios. She does 4 haino keneged hamalchus de zer anpin haino ataras yisod. That's where he says that first aliyah. There's 4 different aliyahs, 5 different aliyahs, excuse me. And in Hainu Ataras Yisod, first corresponding to the place, the Ataras Yisod, connected the Yisod, the Zer Anpin, so which is corresponds to the Yisod, the Zer Anpin. Then the next one is connected Netzach Echod, the Zer Anpin, connected the Teferes, the Zer Anpin, V'Aliyah Chamish is connected the Chesed, the Gevurah Shema'al HaChazed, is in other words, goes up above the Chazed, the Zer Anpin, which would bring you to the place of Das. Of Na'asa al Yedecha Zekifa Shniya. So he said, he called Achad B'Chamesha Aliyos, because he says like this, each one of the 5 Aliyos that she makes, Elu, She'olah HaMamalchim B'Brira L'Makoma Sheba'achre Zer Anpen Z'Tzilus, so she's going up on his backside again, remember, who sod Shiluv Havaya Adni Kazeh. It's really a combination of these 2 names. Havaya Adni put together is a Gematria, it looks like this. And the Gematria is 91. L'chein sark levoyer ata ketzid near mazen chamesh aliyah shall havaya adni bebechinas rayo. So how do you get 216 out of 91? We call achaz me'eluch aliyos yesh lo ofen achar shall rayo. It says a different way in which it comes to rayo. So now he's going to go through these, and he's going to show us how each one of these has a rayo within it. So he says, yisod nirmaz bebechinas rayo. So now you're going to go up to the aspect of the yisod, and you're going to have some kind of rayo there. So how do you get there? Take the number 91, which is the shilov, shel havaya adni, and the name adni itself, which is 60. The adni itself in a revuah she'ola kuf kaf vav. So you take 91 and kuf kaf vav. You have rayas you have 217, Kemisbar Rayo Imakolel, and that's what it says. Now, this is like inductive reasoning where they're telling you a fact, but we have to figure out how it works together or what he's trying to accomplish with this. So because he's able to take Resh Yud Zion and eliminate a letter from it. So he says, then you see that underneath that letter, or lumber that 217, take away 1, you get to Rayo again. So moving on. So he says, Haliyah la'ataris yisod near mazah. Is that one I just did? Okay, next one. So Haliyah yisod near mazah bebechinas Rayo. Yisod kolol eskal lechamisha kitzvahs, because in the yisod you have the 5 kitzvahs, chesed through hod. Chesed Gevurah netzach hod yisod. Now, why does he say that? Netzach hod yisod, Gevurah netzach hod yisod. He left out Tiferes, so I'm not sure why. So each one of them has 5 chasadim within it. Hare kuf kaf hey, that's 125. Because Shechanetzaref od b'misbar tzadi aleph, so because the tzadi aleph seems to appearing everywhere, shall havaya adni, you have 216 again. So haliyah, so then after it gets past yisod, is haliyah the netzav v'hod near mazah bebechinas rayo. So how? You see a rayo on this also. Kasher nitzaref el kufkov hey bebechinas that we said before. Shebenetzav v'hod od kamisbar tzadi aleph shall havaya adne. Shebenetzav v'hod, you have 216. So next one, he says aliyah b'teferes near mazba lafila lo teferes, to the area of the body, the whole body. Near the bebechinas rayo. How? Keep it teferes, in teferes yesh shlosha shemos av, because in teferes you see there's 2 different names, 3 different avs. That's 216. Excuse me, av. Excuse me, I said it all wrong. I'm sorry. Yesh shlosh shemos av saguma. You have the 3 different, in teferes you have the 3 lines. You have the line to the right, the line to the left, and the line in the middle. Maz in the middle. Hadechlalos bo, that are in part of the concept of teferes. B'kol acham bechem yesh membeis osius, and each one of them has 42 letters. That is the pashut, the mole, and the mole, the mole. So he said v'shlosh pa'amim mab. So you take 3 times mab. What do you get? It comes out to be 126. So once again, we bring the combination of that yichud together. Shel shem havaya adni. Haim olim rayo, rayas, again, convenient rayo imakoilo, which is rayo in a kola. So again, this leaves me dumbfounded a little bit how he's able to put these things together, but he's showing you that they're in there anyway, and there's rayos all over. Ha'aliyah teferes near mez bebechinas rayo. So if you're going with finally this aliyah is a bechina rayo. Kasher nitzaref el kuf kof hey a bechinos shebeteferes od kemisber tzadi ala shel havaya adne hare rayo. That's rayo right there. So he says, as we're coming, and I'm just doing this because this is Rosh Hashanah and we're short on time, so I'm just going through this. He says it. He says, so we're taking all this down, we're bringing it into the nook. This kind of rayo we're bringing to her. V'gamam gevane b'kol echad me'aliyos elu ketzad romez, the name Havaya Adni, the bechinas rayo. Ba'ato now be'ez skifa, and now we're bringing everything up. Chosrin b'gavane gavanas elu in bechinas rayo or nirmez b'kol echad bechem. So now we have the idea that we're bringing up all of these different aspects. I guess he means the 5 levels. And he says each one of them has a rayo inside of it, and we're working rayo. So he says, "V'hine be'es ha'chrios, hoya kuvane b'kol aliyah shal malchus b'shtei shemos sevaya adne." So we see that this is in every one of the aliyos. V'atach be'eses akifos. Now in the kifa mekuvanim b'aliyah zu also shall hamalchut besod shtei shemus avaya adni v'chein b'kol shar aliyos. All the aliyos are always going to have this shilov. V'aliyah l'chataris yisod the nirmas b'bechinas rayo ki shtei shemus elu chavayan adni hein b'milu yudin. If you make them into a milu yudin communion av v'kasa. So now you're making the Akia into a Milu of Yudin, and the same with the Havaya. You have 72 and 161, Sha'olah Cheshbon Regel. Now this word Regel appears in the other place, another place where I'm really short and I would like to know more about, is at Kriya Shemal on Lamita, where they start bringing in these different combinations, and one of them is Regel. So here he says Regel is the number 233. V'kashech Naser, you can do this, he says, Mimispa Regel, Sak Rayo, take Rayo Yishar Yud Zaim. So they took 16 from 233. You get with Yud Zaim V'im HaKolo Hem Yud Ches. And now what do you have? Shehem Keneged Eser Osius Sheish B'Milu Havaya the Av, which is the corresponds to the 10 letters in the Milu of Av. V'od Shmona Osius, and also another 8 letters of Peshuta Sheyesh B'Shtei Shemus Havaya Be'ekia that you have in that, and you add it up like that, and you're going to get what? I don't know, not sure exactly. I should go back at next time because I think we're out of time now.
Yeah.
Okay, Kol Tuf.